Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Best Dishes. Today's show is all about Savannah Soulmates. Today, my friend Damon Lee Fowler is joining me, and we're making some of our favorite Southern classics, starting with a sinfully sweet green tomato pie. Look at that beautiful pie, y'all. Then it's the most tender smothered pork chops you'll ever eat. Look, I'm even cutting through the bone.
Oh my.
Look! And Damon shows me his celery root mashed potatoes that are out of this world.
Isn't that good?
And then finally, a colorful black-eyed pea dip with a tangy dressing. Oh my goodness. My friend here is truly a Southern food historian. He's got fabulous books out, and he's the studious one, and I'm kind of...
She's the cook.
I'm the cook and a little bit of a clown. So...
Well.
So Damon is gonna fill us in, aren't you? On the roots of this green tomato pie. But first, finish slicing these 5 green tomatoes while I start on the dry ingredients. Now, I've got 1 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/4 cup of raisins.
Well, this one goes way back, Paula. It goes back into the, at least before the Civil War. We don't know how far, the 1850s at least.
See, I told y'all he was smart.
It was in a wonderful cookbook written called Versteel's Southern Cooking that was published right after the war between the states.
Damon, I hate to interrupt you, honey, but just let me quickly give everybody the measurements. 2 tablespoons of tapioca.
It goes way back, and I think what it is, you know, you just didn't waste anything in those days. So,
Right.
you know, you can't use them all ripe, so you might as well use some of those green ones and get the vines culled down.
1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg and 1 teaspoon of orange zest. It's gonna give this a little bit of zip.
One of the things I love about this pie is the tartness of the tomatoes. You know, a green tomato is completely different.
You know, a green tomato is simply a tomato that has not ripened. And you can see this one was on its way to ripening, wasn't it?
It was headed there.
Well, you have got those tomatoes sliced.
Yeah.
I've got up our sweetness.
Give me something to do here.
Yeah, if you would get the pie crust out of there. This is gonna be a 2-crust pie. We've made a simple, standard, homemade pie crust. We have taken it, we've divided our pie crust, and now, Damon, if you would take the top and roll it out, I'll be putting our tomatoes in. And here is your
I'll take that.
roller.
You can have this.
I will take the pie crust, and I'm just gonna line this crust, y'all, with those tomatoes. And remember that after they cook, they're gonna shrink. So, Damon, what is it that makes Southern food Southern?
I think it's a combination of things, Paula. It's first of all, the fact that we can have gardens 10 months out of the year. Even in cooler parts of the South, you can have some things growing almost year-round. So that wonderful fresh produce. Then you have the factor of who was cooking in the kitchen, the symbiosis of African cooks, that European cooking, and then all that wonderful fresh produce sort of comes together and makes Southern cooking happen. And I think that's really what sets it apart from other parts of the country.
Damon, look at this.
Oh my Lord.
Doesn't
look
that look wonderful? Now, you know, if you don't like raisins, you could certainly leave those out. I love the sweetness that raisins add to a dish. So all we're gonna do now, y'all, is just put this top layer.
You wanna do this?
I will do it. I will do it.
Why don't you?
So I'm just gonna kind of pull that excess off. And then we're just gonna take it, oops, get back on there, I want you to stay. All we're gonna do is just stick my finger in there and pinch.
Take over and finish that up for me?
Yes, you can. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna take an egg and we're gonna use the white part to brush the top of our pie because it's gonna make it beautiful and glossy. Damon!
Well,
You're the pie crust man, baby.
So we're gonna cut into this pie.
Those little slits are gonna allow the steam to escape from our pie. Look at that man. He's my historian.
This is a serious knife, Paula.
Yeah, it's kind of serious.
Oh my God.
How many books do you have out now?
I have 6 books.
Get out, honey. You've been a
6 in
busy
total.
boy. So this looks great. It just needs one more little thing, a little bit of sugar. Just a little bit of sugar.
You and I are a lot alike. We believe in sugar and butter.
Sugar and butter, honey. I think that's what the South was built on. So this will kind of crystallize on top of this pie. It'll just give it a nice little finish.
Real
All
pretty
right.
color.
So Damon, let's bring it down,
Okay.
honey. Put it in the oven. Now we're gonna bake this pie for 25 minutes at 425. So we're gonna have it in a hot oven so it'll brown quickly. Then after 25 minutes, we're gonna turn the oven down to 350 and continue to bake it for 20 minutes until those tomatoes are nice and soft.
And juicy and luscious.
A Southern classic, y'all. Smothered pork chop. I just kind of love pig, you know what I'm saying? Rich and creamy celery root mashed potatoes. Now we talking, baby. And we're finishing up with a refreshing black-eyed pea dip. I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break. I've got Damon Fowler in the kitchen with me. He's a food historian, a fellow Savannian, and a dear friend of mine. And he's about to share with us one of his recipes, his Lowcountry smothered pork chops.
I just seasoned this side. I'm gonna flip them over now and season the second side with a
Okay.
little bit of salt, pepper, and cayenne.
Ooh,
and
that is
a little
cayenne.
bit of cayenne. Oh yeah, this is cayenne. This is not
didn't-
paprika. This is
Okay, I thought it
this is
might
a
be
wake-up
paprika.
call.
And those are beautiful chops. They are probably an inch thick, y'all, center cut chops.
A little bit of salt.
Is
A
there
little bit
anything
of
I can
flour.
do
Yes,
to help
could you put a little flour in here for me,
All
please?
right, do you want it
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, just right there on that
Okay.
plate.
You can wash your hands if
Okay,
you
I'm
would
gonna
like.
wash my hands. Yeah.
Damon, while I'm doing this, I
I
don't
wash
want
my
you to.
I wash my hands about 30 times when I'm in the
Well,
kitchen.
I
because,
don't want
know.
you to put your finger in the wrong place and that cayenne really light you
Oh
up.
yeah, and I'm gonna put a couple of tablespoons of butter. You know, we've got to have some butter in
Yes,
in
we
this.
do.
And that's a little more than 2 tablespoons, but who's counting, right?
Certainly not I. You know, you feel free to put some more if you need it here.
We
So
just
is
get
that
those lightly coated with the flour.
Okay,
we don't
so
need
we'll
them to be
just
real
shake
heavy.
it off.
Yeah, we'll just shake off the excess. Yeah, just get
There
rid
you
of it.
go.
Okay.
okay?
so-
Well, I've got you on pretty much high. So.
Yeah, well that works for me. Now I'm gonna let them brown on both sides. And while they're doing that, we'll come over and we're gonna play with some peppers here.
Okie doke. We've got some bell pepper. We've got chicken
Yeah,
stock
and
over
these are the
here.
characteristic flavors. You know, they always talk about that holy trinity in the Creole kitchen.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, it was here first. They don't like to hear that. So what I like to do is take the top off the pepper like that and then take the bottom off, and then you can just sort of push all those seeds out of the way. Then you can come in with the knife and cut through at that point and just lay the food flat.
Right.
And then we're gonna just cut it into
And
pieces.
I always pop out that
Oh yeah,
stem and use every
I always use every
piece.
bit of it too. And I'll just give you one and let you go play with it over
Okay.
there.
All right, there's a bell pepper.
Oh, that one's really pretty.
Yes, all 4 of them are pretty to me. I
Now-
just kind of love pig, you know what I'm saying? All right, now I see you've got some garlic over there.
I've
Would
got
you
some
like
garlic.
for me to?
Yeah, about 3 cloves of
Okay.
garlic. So if you could peel those and mince those for
Okay.
me. And I'm gonna start on the onion because I'm just gonna cut this onion into strips.
All right, now let me get you a plate,
Okay.
Damon.
I think they're ready to come out, Paula.
Okay.
So now I'm gonna put those peppers in and the onions. If you wanna wait to put the garlic in, I always wait because garlic cooks at a different rate from peppers and onions. I wanna get a little color on the onion and I want the peppers to get a nice bright green.
ready for the caramel?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Now I'm gonna push this to the side, and then
Okay.
we're gonna put these chops right back in here. And we're
Okay.
getting it off to the side. Then I'm gonna take those peppers and onions
And you're gonna pour that little
oh yeah,
pork juice in
we
there.
need to put that pork juice. Okay, I'm gonna clean my hands up. If you'll put the peppers and onions back on top of the chops for me.
Okay.
Because what we want to do is we're smothering them with that. Now I'm gonna add enough broth to sort of half cover these things, about 2 cups. We don't want it to completely cover them. It's really almost a braise that we're gonna do here. One more thing I've got to add to this before we cover it up is some Worcestershire sauce. So let me just grab it behind you here. And we'll just dash a little of that in. You know, this is a real Southern thing, using lots of Worcestershire sauce. We've got a bubble going, so let's go ahead and cover it.
Take some tin foil. And I'm just gonna work it together like this, because that's a pretty big pot. So look at there, we have a lid. All right, we're gonna let this simmer for about 45 minutes.
About 45
Is that correct?
minutes, until they're tender.
They might be tender enough in 10 minutes for me. I am so hungry. Well, let's move on down here, Damon, and get started on our celery root mashed potatoes.
This is a celery root. You can get them in a regular grocery store, and what we're gonna do is just take the root off.
Yes.
Because you see, when I cut in here, there's still some root up underneath because the bottom of it really has a lot of clumping in it.
Right. It reminds me of a trimmed pineapple.
A little bit, yeah. What I like to do is switch at this point to a vegetable peeler, because you take off a little bit less of it. So I know this is one of the ugliest and most unpromising looking vegetables, but they add a creamy richness to the mashed potatoes that you're just gonna fall over.
Honey, I'm smart enough to know that beauty is only skin deep. We're making a delicious black-eyed pea dip. Look at the colors of that. Looks so good. And don't forget those celery root mashed potatoes and our delicious green tomato pie, y'all. Oh my goodness. I hope y'all are enjoying the show, and I want to hear from you. Tell me what recipes or videos you'd like to see me make by just leaving a short comment below. Now, let's get back to the show, y'all. In case y'all have just tuned in, I'm in here with my Savannah soulmate, Damon Fowler. We've got our smothered pork chops going. Look at those smothered pork chops. They're looking great. And while you're chopping up your 6 russet potatoes and 1 celery root for our mashed potatoes, I'm gonna make us a black-eyed pea dip. And this is very simple. I'm gonna take 2 cans of black-eyed peas, and this is one of those great dishes where, yes, it's legal to use a canned pea. All right, that's 1 can, and like I said, I just wanna drain it, and then I'm gonna pour it all into my bowl. And my 2nd can. Here we go. Just give that a swish. And then I'm gonna use 1 15-ounce can of whole kernel corn, and we're also gonna drain that. And then I'm gonna use 1 10-ounce can of a spicy tomato. And these come in different heat forms. You can go to real hot to a mild, and they're delicious for hot dips, Mexican dishes. We rely on those a lot for that. The last thing that's gonna go in is a jar of pimentas. And I'm using a 4-ounce jar. I'm just gonna drain those and throw those in. They're gonna be pretty red color for us. So I'm gonna put this in the sink, and then I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna make the dressing for our black-eyed pea salad. And look at the colors of that. The pretty black eyes on the peas and whole kernels of corn. Looks so good. All right, Damon, you're about through. If you could put the celery root and the potatoes on the stove back here, we're gonna let them cook for about 20 minutes. I need a couple of tablespoons of chopped jalapeno peppers, and we're gonna use a fresh. I need some red bell pepper and some green, and the rest of that onion chopped up. I'm gonna start making our dressing for our black-eyed pea salad. I'm gonna start with a 1/2 cup of red wine vinegar. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, And then I'm gonna add 1/4 of a teaspoon of sugar. Now I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of olive oil. So how are you coming on those vegetables?
I've got the jalapeno chopped up here.
Now I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. So we're using a full cup of oils for our dressing.
Well, you were a little busy, so I'm gonna walk behind you to the bowl.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me pass it to you. Now we're using 2 different kind of oils because you're gonna get a different flavor with the olive oil. Now I'm gonna, hopefully this jar is seal proof, but you know what? Just to make sure I don't sling oil all over me, I think I'm gonna take a rag.
That sounds like a good idea.
That sounds like a good plan, doesn't it, Damon? Just to make sure. And I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake it. I'm shaking my booty down here.
Oh, isn't that gorgeous?
Isn't that pretty? So we're just gonna pour this over our black-eyed peas. And y'all, as this sits in the refrigerator, it'll just get better and better.
You ready for some onion now?
I'm so ready for it.
Okay, you tell me when.
And you can't put too many onions for me. All right, so this is looking good, Damon. You're gonna get the bell pepper
I'm getting
in
the
there.
pepper cut up.
And I'm gonna put a little salt and pepper.
You know, I'm mostly a home cook, Paula, so I'm a little slow. You'd probably have to fire me at the Lady and
No,
Sons.
honey, listen, I'm the same way. You know, I don't want to necessarily be the fastest. I just want to be the most precise, and I want to have 10 digits when I walk away. That's my goal.
You know, one of the things I love about things like this, Paula, is that it really is an example of all the fresh produce we have in the South and how we can have salads a lot longer in the season than you can in other parts of the country.
I'm right with you. This looks wonderful. So let's taste.
Oh, I've got to
Dig
taste
in.
this. This looks so wonderful.
Isn't that yummy? Perfect for football game food, isn't it? We're mixing up our celery root mashed potatoes. I can see why you would go to that extra little trouble. That's out of this world. And we're finally gonna get to dig into our green tomato pie. Great time of day. I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break. What are you doing, honey?
I am ricing these potatoes that we cooked for the mashed potatoes.
It looks just like rice. Maybe that's why they call it a ricer.
I think that might be it, but you know, this helps to keep the potatoes smooth. I'm gonna get that off of there.
Just like rice,
doesn't it? What I need for you to do, honey, instead of getting your hand in the pot, is drain those celery roots for me while I finish this up.
Okay. And we've got our celery roots right back here. You know what that looks like now? It still looks like pineapple to me. You know, I said that earlier, and I stand by my story.
Well, it really kind of does. So what we're gonna do is put it into the blender. We're gonna add 1/2 cup of cream to that.
Now we talking, baby.
And a couple of tablespoons of butter.
Pass me the butter, and I'll add the butter.
Okay.
You add the cream.
Okay.
Now, how much butter did you say?
2 tablespoons.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, I feel
Yeah.
you.
So, now don't get too much in there, Paula, because
Okay.
I got to put some in the mashed potatoes.
I've got more.
Oh, well, I should know that by now. So now we're gonna add the cream, and the cream's gonna help us liquefy it. So we're just gonna switch this
I
on.
hope it's not so hot that the top explodes.
I know.
Have you ever had that happen? I have too. Oh, I hear it laboring.
Yeah, it's getting, so it's nice and thick, and ooh, it smells so good.
Does it?
It does. So now, now I'm gonna take the rest of this butter. We're gonna mash that butter into the potatoes.
And while you're doing that, I'm gonna take the pie out of the oven because I think, look at that beautiful pie, y'all. Oh, green tomato pie, y'all. I'm swallowing hard now, Damon.
So I'm adding another half a cup of cream to these.
Okay.
And I'll mix that in. Now, if you can hand me the celery root, you can add that. I'll stir it in.
Just kind of pour it?
Just pour it right on in there. And see how rich it is?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. I will use the cooking liquid from the celery root. Isn't that good?
Oh my goodness.
So I want to add a little more salt to this. Then we'll add a little bit of pepper.
You know, I can see why you would go to that extra little trouble. That's out of this world.
Isn't it wonderful?
Out of this world. Yeah. I'm gonna uncover those fabulous pork chops. And you can show me how you would plate this dish. Oh my goodness. Great time of day. Damon, this looks fabulous. You know, these, look.
Oh, they're fork tender.
They're fork tender. Look, I'm even cutting through the bone.
Oh my.
Look. Celery, root, homemade mashed potatoes.
Oh, Lordy. Those potatoes were good
Lord
by
have
themselves.
mercy. I gotta taste this pie.
They're just really terrific.
Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if y'all enjoyed this week's full episode Friday, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, friends.